Justice,
right?
How do you ground justice? If you don't ground it in God, isn't it just preference?
Like morality,
Yeah,
like moral
what is
legitimacy?
justice? Tell me what now listen, I'm not trying to make this a trick question, and I'm going to just caveat this with this. Explaining what justice is, it's like the hardest concept in the world.
Okay. Well,
so I'm not going to hold you to this, right? Instead, I'm just going to say, okay, you can try to ground justice.
When I'm talking about justice, like when I'm talking about justice in the context of like rights, I think, in that case,
you don't have rights. There are no rights. They're made up.
Do you not believe in the concept of rights?
No, they're made up. Where do they come from? Point to one.
The government. They're like, okay, I would define rights.
The government gives you rights?
In this country, yeah.
Well, no, just period.
Can I define rights?
Yeah.
Protections given to individuals in society.
Oh, given? They're given to you?
They're legally enforced.
What makes it a right if it's given to you? Can it be taken away?
Yeah, it can.
It doesn't sound like you have a right then. Sounds like you have force. Sounds like somebody uses force in order to collectivize to make sure that you can do or not do something. That's not really a right. That's not like the justice in rights when you say I have the right to speak. You have the right to speak.
Freedom of speech. Yeah, that's a right.
Yeah, it's a right. As long as somebody says you have it.
How do you feel about the Constitution?
Hang on. As long as someone says you have it, that's it. That's the only way you have rights. You don't have rights. Rights don't exist. They're concepts. They're made up.
Just because something's awarded or given to someone, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Where does it exist? Where does a right exist? Can you point to one? Can you touch it? Can you taste it? Can you smell it?
So if you can't physically or tangibly interact with something, it doesn't exist.
Where does it exist?
Like love is a real thing. You can't touch or taste or feel love.
Isn't love just a combination of chemicals in your body that give you a reaction?
I mean,
so that exists, right?
Do you only believe in tangible concepts? That's interesting.
Well, no, I'm looking at your worldview. I'm looking at your worldview.
I'll ground it in something more like realistic.
Okay, what is it grounded in?
If someone tried to like kill you, then they would be arrested because you have the right.
So it's just grounded in the law, so everything in the Middle East is fine because it's lawful?
I didn't say it was fine.
Okay, well then what is it grounded in?
I'm just talking about like the practical application
then
of rights.
What is
if someone
it grounded
violates
in?
Your rights.
Yeah, but what is it grounded in? What do you ground rights in other than you like them?
The law?
So then if you take rights away via the law, that would be justified, right?
No. You shouldn't take rights away.
How do you ground rights in the law? But then if I say, well, I'm going to use the law to take your rights away, the very grounding you're using, that's bad, but the other way it's good? What?
I think we're getting confused here because I'm not, but I mean, like, I think the confusion is going from like you're saying that I have rights because the Constitution says so.
Right.
It feels like a moral thing to have. Well, who decided that was a moral thing to
right.
have? Men in charge, and why did they do that? Because it was beneficial to them and their families and their comrades. Mm-hmm. What is a country? It's just a big tribe.
I would say rights are awarded by virtue of being
naturalistic.
Human.
Right? By who?
What do you mean?
Well, there's all sorts of people who are...
By collective society.
And so if collective society decides to take those away, why are they actually being immoral?
Well, collective society would never decide to take them away.
Except in half the planet, which I can point to right now.
It's because in those countries, the men have decided this doesn't benefit us anymore.
Yeah, so tell me, if I democratically voted or convinced enough people to democratically vote to get rid of democracy, what did I do wrong?
Democratically voted to get rid of democracy?
What did I do wrong?
Well, you can vote for whatever you want.
Right, but if I democratically vote to remove democracy and rights from everybody, tell me why that's actually wrong other than your preference.
There could never be a situation in which you can vote in a democracy to remove democracy, could there?
Yes, you could do it right now.
Oh, by voting for Trump?
Yeah. Don't you think he's a tyrant trying to take away your rights? Well, I mean, yeah, so yeah, you can use democracy.
Wait, don't you like not even believe in like full-on democracy?
No, I don't pivot. I'm
just curious.
That's bad faith. So the thing is,
I just got distracted. That's not bad faith.
Hang on, let's move back to good faith. What do you ground rights in other than your preference? Just things you prefer. What would it actually be grounded in? You can't ground it in the law.
When you say grounded in, what do you mean by that?
Well, so if you say, I'm going to ground my belief in the law, that means that's what the justification is the law. But if you make the justification that the law is what's correct, then if I change the law, then it's still correct.
Are you asking me how should we decide like what rights?
No, I'm asking how you ground it. The thing in which you create the justification for it existing in the first place. What is the justification for a right other than you prefer that thing?
That people in society should be treated a certain way. And that's not a personal preference. That's a collective preference in this country, for example.
So it's preference.
Sure.
Okay, so then it's preference. So your personal preference right now aligns with most people's preference. Hang on.
But there's it's sort of a universal preference.
Hang on. I'll let you do an internal critique back, I promise.
Okay.
If it's the case that your preferences align with other people's preferences, and that creates your justification, then if my preferences align with other people's preferences, we're equally justified, right?
And that's just having different interests within a democracy. Sure.
Well, then if that's the case, then if men collectivize and their preferences outweigh women's and they take all your rights away, tell me what they're actually doing wrong.
Well, that's undemocratic.
Why is that wrong other than your preference, though? It's not, right?
I mean, it's not constitutional.
And the Constitution is a collective of preference?
Yeah, that we, yeah.
Yeah. So then, if that's the case, if everything just boils down to what you prefer, then the second men decide to the second men decide to and prefer to stuff your asses in cages, then they're equally justified.
You keep talking.
Hang on. How would they not be equally justified if they're just using the same standard you are, preference?
Because when you keep attaching personal preference to what I'm saying and thinking, but don't you believe there's some kind of based on reason, rationality, I don't want to use the word objective, but universally we have you could look across religions, across cultures, across cultures. There's universal understandings of maybe people should be treated this way. This thing is the right thing. This thing is the wrong thing. Even in a secular context.
Can I tell you about a little island off the coast?
I'm talking about patterns
called Papua New Guinea. Let me explain about this little island.
Are we working in exceptions
in Papua New? Well, okay. I'm just saying. Listen. Before I'm not going to bring that up, even though it's hilarious to do. I'm just going to point this out. Your argument is circular. You're saying me and the collective prefer this thing, and that's what makes it justified. And I say, okay, that's fair.
That's not even about preference. It's universal understandings that benefit.
Are universal standards unchanging?
Mostly, I'd say.
They're unchanging?
They can change, but a lot
okay, then they're not
universal
unchanging.
Understandings are unchanging.
Unchanging means can't change.
I'd say there are plenty that don't change.
Okay, can't. Then I'm not asking about do or don't. I'm asking about can or can't. Are universal preferences unchanging? That means cannot change.
I would say the most universal preferences can't change.
They can't?
They often don't.
What?
Okay, let me give you an example. If you have a law that says don't kill people, throughout history that law's been enforced.
Except in Somalia.
Is there a law in Somalia that says you can't?
Yeah, there's anarchy. There's no government.
Do most countries let you kill people?
What? Wait, you said can't. Can't. Can't's a definitive. It means cannot.
Okay, I'm talking about a pattern here, a trend here.
Yeah, I'm talking about a trend here too.
So Somalia is the trend and the pattern? The trend, it's one country.
No, the trend is just preference.
If you can point to majority of countries and majority of
the majority of countries, women have no rights.
Do they in most countries?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to add to that? So the universal preference must be that you don't get any rights.
In those countries, are they democratic?
No. What do they need to be?
Do you think if they suddenly were democratic, then that could change? That in those countries, suddenly women could gain access to rights?
I don't know. Iraq is democratic now, and I don't know about the whole women's rights thing there.
In Afghanistan, if you gave women, if you implemented democracy
who gave them that? Who?
Well,
who?
If men suddenly gave women the right to vote.
If men suddenly gave women rights, that's crazy.
And they're only really incentivized to do that when they need their votes.
That's crazy. If men gave women rights, the women could do stuff. I'm razzle-dazzled by this argument.
No one ever said men were physically weaker or had less of a monopoly.
Well, I'm just saying, you're just saying to me that if men happen to give women the right to vote.
I've agreed with you this whole time that men are stronger and can physically overpower women.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about if men gave women the right to vote right now.
So that's a pivot from what I'm saying.
It's not. You said if men in Afghanistan suddenly gave women the right to vote, then things would sure change. Yeah, no.
I'm talking about personal understanding.